Out there. And I believe we in there.
And we live, babe.
Oh, we live, baby.
We live, babe.
Facebook, what up?
Whatever happened to
Yo.
Am I my brother's keeper, huh?
You know what?
You know what happened to it.
It became my people's keeper. A moment of information, impartation, and inspiration to uplift, encourage, and most importantly, empower. So am I my brother's keeper? Yes. Am I my sister's keeper? Yes. Oh yes, I am my people's keeper.
Yeah. What's going on? What's going on, everybody? And welcome to my people's keeper. Hey.
And we're back.
We're back and we live, baby. We're live. Listen. I am so excited about today's episode. I'm so grateful again for always being on this platform. And thank you to my friends and my family for joining us tonight on this week's podcast of My People's Keeper. Am I my sister's keeper?
Yes, I am.
Am I my brother's keeper?
Yes, I am.
Am I my people's keeper?
Yes, we are.
I'm so excited. Listen, man, y'all know my lovely co-host. I mean, I'm gonna let her do her thing, man. I don't want to, put the gravy too much on her because that is my baby. But she back with me. Come on, baby.
Hey, people. It is so great to be back. I haven't heard from y'all or seen y'all in about a month. Been traveling.
Yeah,
and doing some things, but I am Patrice Robinson. You can call me Trees. I am my people's keeper, and we are here to inform and educate our community.
Yeah, we almost had to redo her contract because she was taking off too much. But I'm grateful for all of those special guests that I had. Shout out to them as well, and definitely always.
Thank y'all for filling in. Yeah. I appreciate it.
Yeah, they saved the job. And definitely to one of the greatest media groups in the world, 119 Media Group. Shout out to the Media Group family.
119.
Yes, Lord, we in the building, we in the place. And listen, I want y'all to I want y'all to share, give us some hearts, talk back to us in the comment section. And definitely we want you to also be able to chime in and tune in via YouTube as well. 119 Media Group, you're able to go back and view the show there as well. But also in the car when you're riding. Definitely, you can go to Spotify. We're on Spotify, 119 Media Group, and you can find us there. Scroll down to the episode of My People's Keeper, and you can definitely listen to us there. So we're grateful to be on these several platforms that we're on. I feel like I'm somebody.
You somebody.
Yeah. Listen, and so tonight we're gonna jump right into it, man. One of the things that we wanted to try to make this platform about is not only to make sure that we provide information, but also inspiration, to make sure that we uplift, encourage, and motivate our listeners, because truly I believe that this is definitely a prevalent time for us to make sure that we're constantly providing information that is going to change the narrative of our people. Yes, that's right. Of our people, those that are listening, hopefully we'll be able to say something that will help build you, that will help uplift you, and that will help encourage you. So listen, I see Buffy on the line. What's going on, cuz? I see a couple of faces on the line. Listen, tonight we are talking about what is grief.
And grief, y'all know that's a topic that we all can relate to. We all have some experience with it. But grief, what is grief? So to start us off, grief is defined as a deep sorrow caused by the death of someone special to you. Grief is the response to loss, particularly the loss of someone or some living thing that has died, to which you had a bond or some type of relationship with.
Yeah. In those simple terms, I think all of us that are listening can relate to that. And this is so fresh. Again, when we talk about grief, so many of us have lost someone special to us I mean, just recently. I mean, definitely we can go back in the moments of time and say, those key people such as grandparents that we lost, and some you lost parents, siblings, cousins. But recently with the whole pandemic that has happened with COVID-19, definitely with gun violence is definitely one of the initiatives that helped push us to be on this platform as well. Not only understanding what grief is, but things to help you deal with grief. And so, I lost, a very close family member, my only brother. Many of you all know that. Again, there's a lot of individuals, classmates, friends that I know, my wife as well. I'm from Hartsville, South Carolina. She's from the Denmark area.
Olar, South Carolina.
There is not a stoplight. There is a caution light.
That's all right, but
Yes,
there.
And so, we have experienced losing family members and all, like I said, to gun violence. And so I think this is a topic that many of us can actually chime in and talk about. And also, definitely, the line is open. If you see the number flashing, we would love for you to chime in, call in. You can even call in even right now. And as we talk a little bit more about,
all right, David, I see your comment. Olar, South Carolina. We know where it is.
Lord,
Highway 321.
Oh, David, no. Yeah, Highway 321. If you drive too fast, you gonna miss it. You gonna miss. You better not blink. You better not be asleep. You better not even dig down to get a pen. If you,
all right, that's enough.
Okay,
get off my town. Get off my
all
town.
right, but anyway, grief, deep sorrow caused by the death of someone. And I believe that there are different types of sorrow, different types of grief. There are those deaths that that you prepare for.
Okay.
Like loved ones.
But it's still grief. I don't think it's a type of grief. It's still grief, and I guess how we relate to it, or how
can we say levels?
Explain levels.
Well, we can
grief
try to
is
find
grief. Like, we can have a sorrow. Some grief just hit harder than others.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. We'll just say
right.
that.
The pain just hit harder than others.
Okay. Hit harder. Hits a little different.
Exactly. Like, I can say my dad died in 2019. He was sick.
Right.
So I expected it happened. It was his health was constantly declining. So I had more of a acceptance because it was happening. So, I mourn because I do miss him, but it wasn't in a place where I got stuck.
Right.
Because
you expected
I saw the decline and I expected it. But
So
it's those unexpected deaths that just hit us harder than others.
So we're talking about expected deaths versus unexpected deaths. That causes the different types of pain is what we relate. I like how we
so it's the levels of pain, maybe, but grief is all grief. It's a sorrow.
Yeah. Grief is all grief, but it's a sorrow. So with that being said, what are some of the different stages, I guess? Matter of fact, let us get a little more in depth when it talks about grief. If you could share that with us.
All right. So when it comes to grief is a natural reaction to loss. It can be universal and it can be personal. It's a ending of an important relationship. It can be job loss. It can be theft. Someone took something from you that you value. It can also be, you can grieve from independence. Say you used to walking around, you used to having all your limbs, you used to functioning, but then you get in a car accident and now you're a vegetable.
Wow.
So you grieving at the fact that I can no longer maneuver like I used to. I can no longer just go to work. Now someone else is responsible for me. Someone else has to take care of me. So you can grieve the fact that you no longer have your body parts.
So the key word is loss. Right. The loss of something.
Someone.
Yeah.
Loss of something or someone.
Someone, right. Okay.
Grieving is a process. You have no control over it. Your emotions are all over the place. The emotions can be very strong and your emotions can be very overwhelming.
Wow.
Mourning can last from months to years. There are 5 stages to grief. And to be honest, I don't even think we make it. Sometimes we never even make it to the end stage, because when you really lose someone that's close to you, or you really lose someone that meant so much to you, you will constantly think on it. You will constantly have those memories. So the 5 stages, I'm gonna name them first. The 5 stages are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Those are the 5 stages of grief. And let's talk about denial. Okay. So denial is when you first learn of the loss. It's a feeling that you get that this thing happening. I know we was just together. We was just at the cookout having a good time. Right. And now I got a call saying you were shot. Or now I have a call saying you have a terminal illness and the doctor only gave you 2 months to live.
Right. I think you breaking that down just like that. It goes back to that day, that night. And again, forgive me if I have forgive, and not saying forgive me in that sense, but I just it happened so fast. When you talk about my loss or our loss, first thing when I got the call that Brian was shot, I just assumed that, he
was shot. Okay. He on his way to the hospital.
What hospital we going to?
We about to meet you there.
Yeah. Okay. What you talking about? Shout out to my cousin Wanda. What you mean? What do I need to go? No, he didn't make it. Like he's been murdered. So my mind is starts, as I saw Buffy writes, spinning.
Right. So
emotions.
You're numb. You're shocked. You're shocked at the information that you are receing. Like, no, this didn't happen. This not happening. Not my brother.
Trying
not
to figure it
my
out.
cousin. You know.
Like how? Like how in the world did that happen? What was he doing? You trying to figure out, play back in your mind, knowing him. He didn't get out quick enough, knowing how he used to tell stories. Right. About just hearing a sound and it jumping to scare him, alarm, being alert and taking off. And it's like, what do you mean? So all of that, spinning in your head. Still, and even to today, to be honest, there's still somewhat of a denial. Like, you think it's is this a dream? Right. The fact is, he's not here.
Terry Michelle, I agree. There are no real order to stages of grief. We can be in any stage at any time. The next stage we're talking about is going to be anger. Now, anger can pop up at any moment. And for us, anger was kind of strong over the last couple of days when, the individual was released on bond. So it made us definitely feel some type of way or whatever. Hey, we're angry because we have family members that was taken away from us so soon. We are angry because you think about, I'm gonna think about my children and how Brian and my brother TJ used to plan when Ariana started dating that they was gonna pull the bad boy scene when the date come pick her up from the house. And so when they used to tell her that all the time, we gonna do this bad boy scene on you, and so now. We started talking about, a little boy liking her, different little things. And then it got quiet because she remembered what her uncle says to her, what they're going to do. And we was looking forward to the laugh. So you have that moment where anger takes over because now we won't have this experience. We won't have this moment.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
Anger because it's just not fair. Like when it comes to death, I always think about there's so many pedophiles and murderers and people that just does harm. Why they still here? Why they still walking around?
Hey, listen, we're going to say some things tonight that
you may or may
you
not
have
disagree.
been thinking about, and you've been thinking about it, you just haven't said it. That, to be honest, you can say if you disagree or don't agree, we're just having a talk. And again, this is not about when we're talking about this process of grief. So definitely, if you get offended by it, then that means you haven't lost anyone. If you get offended by it, then that means, you know what I'm saying, you haven't been impacted by a loss like that. And so, you know, we look at this again, anger comes in waves. Again, any moment there are things that can trigger, you know, trigger that scene. And again, I want to share this as well, because again, in moments like this, like I said, we've lost my brother. There are other countless people in my community, in our communities, that all of us know personally that have lost loved ones, that have lost their children, that have lost their kids. And I'm talking about over the time span. So again, when we speak his name, we also remember their names as well. You know, those that are watching this live, those that are listening, your son, your daughter, your brother, your cousin, we're talking about them as well. And so again, when you talk about anger and justice, you know, having to be served, there's a consequence to all action. I'm not going to go too much in depth with that, because again, everybody have, it's about grief, you know what I'm saying? But it'll change, you know, push you there. And I serve the devil notice too today as well. You know what I'm saying? We are talking and dealing with what it is that we as a people, as a community, have to start talking about, because there's a lot of people walking around that are still mourning, and they haven't gotten to the place to just grieve, because grieving is a process. It's a continuous thing. If you mourn too long, that's where depression and all of that other stuff comes in. You get into that dark place, and that's not what you want. You want you to mourn too long. You're going to always, yes, remember your baby, remember your son, remember your daughter, whoever it is.
Depression is part of grief as well.
Okay, you just said it. Well, I'm talking about that dark place.
We're gonna get there. I got you.
I'm talking about that dark place. I don't want to get in that dark place. That's what I'm talking about. When you mourn around too long, you get into a slump. It's a place. It's like the sinking place that you don't want to get in. So let's go ahead on to now, because we get off anger.
Okay, so one thing with anger, also you may direct your feelings towards other people. Do we have a caller?
I don't know if we have a caller here. Go ahead, continue.
Okay, no, that's not a caller.
But please, y'all see the number? Please call in.
Okay, so we have so one thing about anger, we may direct that towards other people. We may even direct it towards God, and we might be angry with God because we're like, God, I serve you, I trust you, I'm faithful to you. How could you take my family member away? But right. That's a process. We go through that. But all those feelings, these are natural feelings. So these are feelings that you should express. These are feelings that you should share. And these are also feelings that you should talk about with someone. If it's not a family member or a therapist, counselor, someone. The third, the next step is called bargaining. With bargaining, you talk about what you should have done to help prevent this loss.
Oh, wow. Bargaining. Okay.
Bargaining. Yeah. So what could I have done to prevent this loss? Could I have kept my dad home and not put him in a nursing home? Maybe he would have been here a little longer. Right. What if I would have invited my brother-in-law to come join us for dinner that night? He wouldn't have been home. Yeah. What if I wouldn't have ate too much of this food that I know that was bad for me and it turned into cancer? And it's like all the what if that goes through your head. What if I did this, or what if I did that? You are bargaining, trying to strike a deal with God, trying to talk to God and say, what if I would have did this a little different? But guess what? We have no control over death at all. We don't control it. I
was just thinking about that earlier today, how, we can take advantage of moments of what we do, while we have the time to do it. But one thing we don't have control over, and that is life or death. And that is giving life and taking life away, which means death, because that's all in God's hand. And in due time, due season, everybody got an expiration date. At the end of the day, we do.
That's why he don't let us know it.
He don't let us know it.
Because we'll try to do everything we can for it not to happen, so we can stay here a little longer.
I was thinking about something. My son, he's always asking these weird questions, or these like, would you rather eat something and get 1 year? He said,
okay, would you rather get $1 billion? But if you get $1 billion, you have to press this button, and this button will take life from you.
Yeah.
So you got to decide, and then it'll have you thinking, well, I'm about to be a millionaire, but how you know that if you press this button and it take life for you, your life could be gone the next day. So
right. Wow.
Yeah. So funny. It's one of those things.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people that are listening. Like I said, please call in 803-479-1683. We would love to hear from you. Kind of, I see you on the line. I mean, definitely, please, if you can, we would love you to call in and just kind of share. But just even thinking about breaking that deal with God and thinking about, I know a lot of people on this live right now and that are listening to this podcast right now. I know many of you have said, what if I would have done this? I mean, in all kind, there are so many different scenarios of how, of the what if. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? What if I just told him just to come on by here instead of letting him go ahead, ahead. And so again, that goes to show, our heart, for those that we are connected. Yeah. And so that says a lot. And so it leads us into the next one, which is the depression.
Depression is sadness sets in you as you begin to understand the loss, and it affects your life. So with depression, you can cry. Depression causes sleep issues, decrease in appetite, but I also think it can cause an increase in appetite as well, because you can because of how you feel, and sometimes you need comfort food, so you will just constantly eat, mm-hmm. trying to help fill a void.
Right.
Depression, it's just sadness that comes over us, because we look at this in a year when we lose someone that we love. Mm-hmm. We go through, and we're used to seeing them for their birthdays. We used to seeing them for family events. We used to seeing them for Christmas, Thanksgiving. You got 12 months in a year, and you used to seeing them at least 6 or 7 times in a year, and probably every month or whatever the case is. So you have a family member that their presence is no longer there. You no longer have them to joke with you and clown and just have a good time. So now you missing something. It's a void.
Yeah.
And so when you have that void, it just makes you go to a place. And sometimes you don't want to go to that place of depression. But I believe I've only lived for 36 years, but I promise you, I've been dealing with death most of my life. Death for me I can just remember just in high school, we lost people. Car accidents, back to back, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. Like, it was always something major and tragic happened. So sometimes I think I done got numb to certain things. Uh-huh. But
we might have
a caller. Let's see.
Hello, you're on the line with my people's keeper.
Hi, William.
Hey, how are you? Who am I speaking with?
Hey, this is Carolyn. How are you all?
Hey, Carolyn, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Guys, first, let me commend you for such an awesome job that you're doing, bringing awareness. This is sometimes people take death and it lasts them just a little while out in the open, but forever, eternity on the inside. So thank you for shedding light on this. And I was not going to call William. I heard you, I wasn't going to call.
Listen, you were in my spirit today. I'm trying to tell you, I was actually going to call you and ask you to be a guest on tonight. And so this is a God moment. So absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for calling in.
Well, and today was a rough day. If I can just be real, today
Please.
Was a rough day. I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning. And y'all, I'm just gonna be real with you. I was thinking about justice. I was stuck on the fact that after almost 2 years. October 3rd will be 2 years. My son was killed by a full-grown man, and so today was a rough day for me. But I pressed. I pressed on through.
Right.
But I want to say about depression, guys. Depression is real.
Mhm.
Depression will cause you having. You know what I got from depression? I got anxiety. I now have such a high level of anxiety until it's unreal. And I go to counseling. I hope there's a million people that are going to see this video that will hear me say, I go to counseling.
Awesome.
Why? It's because I need someone to help me channel the thoughts that I have. I lost a child, someone that I gave birth to. I think so many times, even as people are trying to comfort us, they say the wrong things that create more pain.
Yeah.
Like, I wish people wouldn't ask a person grieving that right after loss, how are you doing?
That's the worst question.
Right.
That's the worst question.
That's the
you
worst
could ask
question.
because it seems redundant. You should know how I'm doing. I'm hurting.
Right.
Mhm.
You know, but so it's conversations like this though that create the awareness
Mhm.
that will hopefully help people, us that have lost a loved one, those of us that yet to come, because we yet to live. You know,
Right.
We yet to live, and so I just want to tell everybody out there that depression is real. You know, I had a lady ask me the other day, say to me rather, I just want some of your strength. No, be careful what you ask
That's
for.
right.
Because I went through something to get this. Listen, if you're not rooted and grounded in Christ, listen. Because see, the enemy want me to be rocking back and forth in a chair, rocking back and forth in a chair. Because anybody that knows me knows how I am about my children.
Mhm.
And that's never going to change. If you bother my children, you bother me.
Right.
You know, as a matter of fact, I thank God for the Holy Spirit and my sister Joni, because that little thing be praying, y'all.
Yeah.
Because the night that I heard that this man killed my baby, listen, within an hour, I knew everything about this man, where his family was. I was prepared to go get him. And yes, I'm saved. Yes, I'm
Right.
Yes, I fear God, but I'm human.
Right.
If you piss me, I will stay out.
Come on.
Exactly.
Understand me? And so, yes, but I thank God for the Holy Spirit and him rest, ruling, and abiding upon me and snapping me out of that thing real quick.
Right.
And you know what? As shocking as it may be, I pray for that man. I do. I pray for him. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't want justice.
Right.
Because law is ordained by God.
Right.
So I want justice, but I pray for him. I pray for all these other people that are running around here lost, that are doing things like him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They're in identity crisis. Tell people real quick, and I don't care who you are. Real fighters don't use guns.
Right.
I think you're a coward.
Come on.
You got to pick a gun up. You just, I'm tell you to your face, world, you a coward.
Yeah.
You know, you never learned conflict resolution. You know, and so these are things right now that this conversations like this are going to help grieving mothers to know that it's okay. I don't care if it's 10 years. If you still hurt, cry.
Yeah.
If you need to scream, scream.
Yeah.
If you need to be to yourself, be
Do
to
that.
yourself.
Do that. Yes.
But now what I'm going to say is be intentional.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Whatever you be intentional. You got to be intentional. If you be intentional in Christ, let me tell you something. I'm telling you what I know, not what nobody told me. He said, I'll be a comforter. He said that before I lost my son. Because he knew that one day I need this. He promised to be a way maker for me. He promised to be a mind regulator. So I stand on his word. You know, but at the same time, y'all, let's be real. I had a bad day today.
Right. And we're going to have those moments.
Watch. I'm not okay.
We're going to have those
That's
moments. And then when you get to see these people that have no sense of life,
right?
They have no respect for life, walking out on the street. Listen, that's God doing character building. That's God doing character building right there.
Come on, God.
I I got to walk among these people. I
Right.
tell y'all the truth. I'm gonna tell you what the enemy did, and show you how big my God is. We went in the courtroom for a bond hearing for the man that killed my son, and as close as the two of you are sitting, they sat that man that close to me.
Jesus.
Wow.
I say, now, Lord, what you doing?
Yes, yes.
What you doing?
Wow.
I can
And
imagine
he
your
told me to
pain.
just look. Just don't even don't do it. Don't lose yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So I say to you guys again, I'm not gonna hold your
Oh,
show
no,
up
you're
because I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be in the midst of praying people like yourself, people that understand that this thing called grief is real and
Yes.
that there are consequences for not dealing with it.
Yes.
Okay. And
Mhm.
and I'm with you, sis. It caused me to eat. I'm on a diet right now because
Right.
I see that
do.
meal prepping. Come on.
Yes.
You know, I'm
Yes,
trying
ma'am.
to stay focused. But see, that's the trick of the enemy too. I had a bad day today, guys.
I
I
get
mean, and I don't think that every day is going to be a good day because again, God promised to be a comforter. Why would He promise to be a comforter if every day was going to be a good one?
Right. Wow.
You know, why would He promise to be a mind regulator if my mind was never going to be troubled?
Mm.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But what
Yeah.
I do now, like you all, and this is why I commend you, people say, why do you show those pictures? Because I want any mother out there that's not being the mother that she is ordained to be by God to see what it is to have to go through this
Mm.
and pray to God that it creates a change.
Yes.
Right.
On the other side, I want these young people to see my son lying face up and me having to close a casket down on him to never see him again.
Mm.
I need them to know the pain that they're going to inflict upon their loved ones,
Right. Right.
praying that one day it'll create change.
That's it. That's the goal. Change.
Carolyn,
You know,
listen, you talking about commending us. I truly commend you. I commend you and I appreciate you for coming on and being led to come on and to share. And I want you, and again, you said being intentional. And one thing about this podcast, again, we want to make sure that we provide information and make sure that we let others know, what people are doing in our community to help in any type of way, in whatever way that they are. And you are one that has always been one of serving in your community. So please, before you release the call, I want to let everybody know about Resource One Community Center. I want you to put your information out there to let everyone know where you are, let them know what you got going on, what you're doing, and definitely the scholarship as well in honor of your son too. So please, if you could do that for me,
yes.
I appreciate that.
Well, and just to tell a little bit, see, y'all parents out there in this la-la world we live in now, we don't like to be real about the things that our child come up against. And a lot of times that's why our child can't deal with it because the parents are in denial that they even have it.
Mm.
Well, my son struggled with a learning disability, and I had to teach him that it's okay to be different.
Right.
You know,
Mhm.
let's go back to that old potter with that clay. He didn't intend for everybody to be the same.
Right.
He intended for some things to be different. And so my son struggled with a learning disability. So in honor and going back to what you guys said earlier, I put my child before God. I said, God, this is going to be the one right here because I have gone through more with this one than any of the other three. And so this is going to be the one. And I got angry. When God, I said, God, I gave him to you. You told me to take my hands off. I gave him to you. Why did you let this happen? I told you this was going to be the bishop. This is going to be the one that preached. And you know what God said to me as I'm saying it to you?
Mm-hmm.
And his name, he will be. He will draw many. He's just not going to be here to do it. He's
Wow.
going to do it.
Right. Oh wow.
Yeah, Carolyn, you.
And so I can't sit down on I got an ear to hear from God. And I refuse to sit down on it. So we created an outlet in the PD. Now I'm in Darlington County area. Now my child's not from Darlington County. All his life he lived in Columbia, South Carolina. But I went back home. Why? It's because seemingly it was not enough being done. I
Right.
didn't say that there was nothing being done. I
Enough.
said it
enough.
was not enough being
Right,
done.
right.
That's right.
And God said in his word, well, my people perish for the lack of knowledge. That means if you don't know, you can't go.
Come
That's
on.
it.
So my goal is there in the area. We did it this summer is to bring young people in and to teach them life skills,
Right.
teach them conflict resolution, teach them to get up in the mirror, get up every morning and look in the mirror and command their day.
Right.
Love what you see or change what you see. You know, face whatever it is you're looking at. And so that's our challenge with the young people. We have on Sunday, we're located there in Hartsville at 303 South 5th Street.
That's right. Somebody
And,
put that in the comment section. Go ahead.
303 South 5th Street.
Mhm.
And so on this Sunday, we're going to have kind of like a little open forum for people to come in and sign their children up to be in the social club.
Oh,
Now,
good.
we know we're not partying. No, we might do a little party because I meet these kids where they at. We might do a
Right.
party. But that's not what it's about.
Got
We're
you.
going to teach them to engage. We're going to assist them, give them an outlet to have someone to talk to.
Mhm.
We're going to bridge the gap from home to school.
Right. I love
Why do we need to do that? Because too many people sending their kids to school knowing that these kids are a handful.
Right.
You know, and so we need to bridge the gap. We need to be that ear for these kids, helping them with mentorship, tutoring, whatever the need is that there is. So it is with great hope that the parents would make an investment called time into their child
That's
and
it.
bring them out and allow people like me and you guys to pour into them so that they'll never have to feel what
How
it
we
is
feel.
that we're feeling today.
it. Right.
That's it.
That's it. That's
That's
it.
it.
I
Listen,
wouldn't wish this feeling on
nobody. Yes.
And I got some people that have done me wrong in life, but I wouldn't even wish this feeling on them.
Right.
But this feeling is of God.
Mm.
We have no control of time. This feeling is of God.
Kelly, is there an age limit?
The age is from 8 to 17.
8 to 17.
8 to 17.
Just so you got you.
Boys and girls will be separated. We have youth counselors that are or male youth counselors that are girls. We're going to separate them in age group. We're not going to have 8-year-olds here with 12-year-olds here because guess what? It is different.
Right.
We're going to teach children to be children. And you know what, guys? We're going to celebrate these kids.
That's it.
Right.
Thank you.
That's
We're
it.
going to celebrate these kids. We're going to help them get to where they want to be. We're going to help them realize that college is not for everybody.
And
right.
that's
it.
okay. And it's
That's okay.
okay.
And that's okay.
Yes.
And that's okay.
Yes.
We're gonna help them get out of an identity crisis.
That's it.
Find out who it is that they want. We got too many kids in Darlington County that want to be NFL players.
Right.
And we got to let them be. We got to be realistic with them.
Right.
We
That's
got to
right.
be realistic. And you know what? I don't cut the dream. I said, what happens after the injury? When the young man tells
Right.
me that, what happens after the injury? What do you do then?
That is true.
Realistically. And
Yeah.
then I bring in my good friend Marcus Lattimore. Let's talk about after the injury.
Exactly.
Well recruited, could have gone anywhere he wanted to, went to San Francisco 49ers and never played a game.
Wow. That's what
You
it's
know
all
what I'm
about.
saying?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
so it's exposing the young people to more.
Mhm.
I bless God to be a person that have a plethora of people that I can call upon to
Connection.
pour back into our young people. You know, I count that a blessing.
Yes.
It's all God. And so that's what I want to do. I want to put these kids, I want to expose them to more. You know,
Yes,
I don't
ma'am.
think the 12-year-old should be home keeping the 3 and 4-year-old. I don't think that. Because what
And
it
you-
does, it gives them a mindset of having babies.
Come on. in
Or
the
make
room.
them hate them.
I make them
Hate them. Yeah.
Y'all going
You
into look at y'all. Since Miss Cal, we definitely gonna bring you back.
Yeah.
We want to bring you
Yeah.
back in the
All
studio.
right, now.
But not only that, hold on for a second. Our president, our CEO of 119 Media Group, he definitely wants to link up with you and to connect with you. One of the things about 119 Media Group is about definitely community outreach and definitely reaching out anything to help build our community, anything else to help the youth as well.
Build, uplift.
And so I'm going to make sure that he gets connected to you and link you. Those that are watching, please, if you can, share this information. Again, I know that there are individuals that are not on this live, that are not watching, that are not listening,
But they will later.
Yeah.
And then those, again, that may not have, this connection, you all that know someone that needs this, you all that know a child that needs this, a parent that needs this in the Darlington County area. They're located in Hartsville, but it's in the Darlington County area. Please, ma'am, and please, sir, get this information out to connect with Miss Carolyn Johnson. Please, at this time, I want to thank you again, Miss Carolyn, so much. We love you so much. Come on, make some noise for Miss Carolyn. Woo!
Thank you, God be the glory.
Yes.
Listen, you be safe out there. I love you so much, and we'll get with you later, okay?
Likewise, God bless you.
Bless you. Wow.
Let me tell you, I like how she started it off. When we ask a person a question, how are you? I hate that question. I hate that question when it comes to grief, and I hate that question as just a part of life. Don't ask me how am I. I like what my mother-in-law do. I'm just calling to check in.
Yeah, that's it.
Check in. Let me check in. And so that'll give me the opportunity to tell you if I got a problem and tell you if something's going on. I'm just checking in with you.
Yeah.
Because if you asking me how I'm doing, you're making me like I can really go on. I don't like my setup. I lost my dad. I'm grieving this week. I lost my job. We getting put out. The car broke down. Like I can go through a million things and tell you I am not okay.
Right.
But I'm here. I'm here. So just check in. Just check in with your loved ones. Check in with your friends. Check in with your family members, and just say I'm here to check in. Just checking in.
One of the things my mom says, she's just checking in. But my brother, his saying was, "You good, bro? You good, sis?" And that was kind of like an intro to kind of tell you or not whether or not you good or you need something.
Right.
But again, the key point is making sure that we check in on people in the right manner.
Right.
And I think one time we talked about that.
I told you that I wanted to do
etiquette.
an etiquette class on do's and don'ts when it comes to death, when it comes to funerals, because I see it all the time. How are you? I mean, literally, they just buried their mom. How you think they are?
How did they die?
How did he die? What happened? You don't ask those questions. Y'all do not ask anybody how anybody died. If they want you to know, they will share it. Right. But I think that's the most.
You'll find a word in a minute.
Oh, y'all just don't know. It ain't for you to know. If the people who know, they know. Let's see. We got another caller.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. Let me see.
All right, we're gonna have to get you. We're gonna have to get another line and not your cell phone. Just we don't know. We don't know if we got a caller or they're a part of the show. Yeah. Okay. Listen, so okay, go ahead.
I wanted to go. We're going back to what because I was just about to jump into that. That's why I said it was a God moment. Is that when we were talking about the depression part, and she definitely put the key on of definitely about counseling.
It's important.
That's important. But the other importance is having a relationship with God. I used to, one of the things that I'm telling you, and we're talking about preparation and talking about how she said that God, that word, God to be a comforter. He's a comforter. And it came before her son was taken away from her.
Right.
Again, when you have people, around you, again, that's why relationships are important. I can remember my grandmother and just some of the losses that we had. Right. I remember when my cousin Shamika passed, shout out to my Doris and Brandon. And when she passed and she was 16, we were young, we were in high school. And so with that, I mean, that was one of the most my grandmother had faith. She was a strong woman of God. But I could see her in a moment of that vulnerable stage. And I thought again, and I got this word from Bishop that she was about to break. And so even though she had a moment, it was that relationship that she had with God that just brought something back in her to say, we're going to get up, we're just going to move, we're going to get through.
Yeah.
And so again, like Sister Carolyn was saying, I've had a lot of people to say that, Pastor, you're strong to be able to do X, Y, and Z that you do. Again, it's not of me. It's the relationship that I have with
God.
him.
Y'all don't even understand.
You don't even understand.
It is God.
Some stuff that you think about saying, some stuff you plan on saying, some stuff, some ways you plan on feeling. Again, I don't hate anybody, you know what I'm saying? But definitely the situation is angry. Lord, I'm trying to get you saved. I swear I'm trying to get saved. Jesus.
He may say he can't dislike nobody, but let me tell you, I can't stand him.
So again,
help me, Lord.
Because again, there's a purpose in the pain. There's purpose in the pain. And God uses moments like this in order, again, like she said, to reach people in ways that you never thought, because again, what if the tables were turned?
And you know what? I like how you said purpose with pain. Sometimes we in life, we think we have it mapped out.
Yeah.
This is my calling. I'm about to be a pastor of this church, or I'm about to be a CEO of this company, or I'm about to do X, Y, and Z. And we're on that path, but something comes to shake us up and redirect the focus. Man. And so it seemed like for me, everything is happening and it's pulling us in this direction. It's pulling us in this direction. Yeah. And so maybe it was Brian's death to shake us up to come in this area. Even though I know my home area where I'm from, we all, these small communities, we all have our issues. We all have a story, and a lot of the stories are similar. Yeah. But if we can start in one area, I'm pretty sure we can pass it on.
Listen,
all we just needed is get it started.
And that's what My People's Keeper is all about. It ain't just for one location, but it's about for us to spread it abroad, spread it over. Again, there's no need to recreate the wheel or reinvent the wheel when there's already somebody out there that has.
We got partnerships.
Come on, partnership. We got partnership, Miss Carolyn. Come on.
Pass it on to somebody else.
So that's what a partnership. Boom. I want to put that flex on them for a minute. Boom.
Drop the bomb.
I dropped the bomb on. Shoot, we like that tonight.
Pain and purpose. Let me write that down. So
Miss Carolyn came on here preaching tonight. I ain't knew she was scheduled. Purpose. Who penciled her in tonight?
We did.
Good God from God.
Look how she had a bad day, but it was all building up so she can come and tell us.
I was sitting there working, and she just dropped. And I was like, I should call. I was going, call. But hey, God knows what He does. Hey, is there anybody else? Anyone else? Listen, if you on the line, come on, call in 803-479-1683.
And so while he's doing that, we're gonna go to the last one, which is the last step of grief, which is acceptance. Acceptance. That means you may never feel okay with what happened.
Right.
We will never accept what happened. We will not feel okay with what happened. But we have to accept the reality that person is no longer here. We have to accept the reality that we're not going to see them on Thanksgiving, or we're not going to see them at Christmas, or we're not going to see them at my wedding. We're not going to see them at my major pinning ceremony. Yeah. We just have to accept our new reality. This is our new normal.
This new normal. Yeah.
Our new normal without our dad. Our new normal without our brother. Our new normal without our sister. Our new normal without our grandparents. Our new normal.
And so the point with accepting that, man, is we try to do what we can, when we can, how we can, to do, whatever it is to accept it, but also and acceptance is a part of coping as well. And so, I'm used to, again, like today is my mom's birthday. Shout out to my mother. Happy birthday, girl. My mama pretty. Yes, she is. Miss Loretta.
Happy birthday.
Just turned 61 today. And so, I know without a shadow of a doubt, and again, I have you and I have kids and I have family. But definitely Brian would be like, hey, what we're gonna do for Mom?
He initiated. He was the initiator.
He was the initiator. You know what I'm saying? I had other, again, like I do have other things going on.
And it helped because he lived here. He was closer. He would call what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know you got to preach, bro. So I'll go ahead.
I'm gonna go ahead and start cooking. So by the time y'all get here,
it'll be ready.
Yeah.
You just go ahead and get what do I need to send you to get. She want this. She want that new that new pot said or something like that. You know, she been talking.
Yeah.
Every time I tell her I go by, she's talking about, yeah, because I need some pots or something like that. And so, you know, that's one of the things that I'm having to accept now. You know, and with that acceptance is like, you know, stepping, you know, having to do, you know, step up a little bit more. Again, just kind of filling that in. But again, when it comes down to how grief works, I think it also, even though you have a loss, I think it also brings a gain, because people, you know, you have people that just steps in some type of way to kind of, you know, to
help fill the void.
Help fill the void. They'll never replace the person, but it just kind of
help
a
out.
filling. There's a filler that comes in.
Filler seat.
A filler seat. Yeah. Filibuster, you know, and so, with them coming in, you know, and help, hey, what we need to do, or checking in, or stop by your mom's house, or whatever the case is, or your dad, or whatever the case is, we appreciate, you know, appreciate them. Oh, I think I might have a call. Let's see. Let me see. All right. Let's see. I know she be listening. Hello? Guess not. All right, again. If you like to call in 803-479-1683. We want to talk with you, see what's going on. Come on.
So grief. We're talking about grief this evening, and that's something that we just don't have control over. Grief happens. We may have a caller. Let's see.
Hello, my people's keeper.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Are you calling in to the show tonight?
I am.
Oh,
all right.
wow,
You're on.
Oh, and you know what? And again, this is wonderful. Let me introduce you. I want y'all to give a nice round of applause. Nice round of applause to Sister Kathy McKinney.
In the building.
She in the building. It's also her birthday as well.
Happy birthday to you.
Wow. I feel like somebody. You calling me on your birthday? I mean, I know you had big plans today, you know, big stuff.
No, just, just grateful to see it. But I was just listening to the show, and I just wanted to say what you said about folks stepping in. I lost my brother, and his friend, they were really close. So he called I don't know if he texted or called my mother and was like, did you remember to call my sister and tell her happy birthday? And it just made me feel like, okay, he's stepping in for my brother.
Right.
I'm used to my brother calling with his slow talking. Yo, sis, what's up? I just wanted to call and tell you happy birthday, baby girl,
Right.
So that really touched my spirit when you said that, because it was crazy when she texted me at 12:01 and told me happy birthday, but she called me to tell me, she's like, did Eddie call you and text you or tell you happy birthday? I was like, yeah. She said he texting me, checking me, talking about you remember to tell my sister happy birthday, and I was like,
That's good.
That is.
And that means a lot. I mean, that really means a lot. I have just like you said, I have my brother's friends, and there's countless of times my parents would tell me who stopped by just checking in. Because
sometimes people, when it's the funeral, when it immediately happened, the house is packed. Everybody is there. But after that, after you've you funeralized that person, the calls stop. Everything kind of slows down, but you will have a few people that'll call you after the fact. And to me, that matters most.
Yeah.
That matters most, because it's going to get you through those hard days.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been trying to do for my bestie, who her granddaughter was murdered a few months back, 11-year-old granddaughter.
Right.
And I've been trying to do that for her too. Like, every so often I'm just checking in. Basically, like you said, your mother-in-law, I'm just checking in. I'm just checking on you or whatever. So last night, me and her was together, and, I was like, okay, we were in the car riding to Columbia from Red Spring, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to bring it up. I'll just let her. So when she actually said something about it, I was like, okay, so her counseling is actually working, and she said she's ready to go back to work. Because at first she was like, I just can't handle work.
Right.
I don't want nobody coming up to me saying,
Asking questions.
well, how you doing? And basically what you said.
Yep.
Well, how you think I'm doing? You know,
Right.
my granddaughter was murdered.
Exactly.
So,
And they go that word again. They go that word again. They go that word again. My people, my people. They go that word again. Counseling.
Counseling.
yeah.
It's okay to get counseling.
It's okay.
It is
It
okay.
is.
It's gonna help
It's
you get through.
needed. It is needed.
Yeah.
Right. It don't mean you crazy.
It doesn't.
It's needed. Right.
And whoever be saying that to folk, they crazy. Excuse me.
I think it comes from a lack of understanding. It's just a lack of understanding.
Right.
I ain't telling nobody my business. That's, people always think it's about telling business, but it's about those 100 thoughts running through your head every 2 seconds. And you just need somebody to help process that, help you process those thoughts. So
Exactly.
Wow. Captain McKinnon and
Well,
calling.
thank you guys for tonight.
Well, thank you.
was
Thank you for
scrolling and
joining.
I seen that and I was like, okay, I need to watch this. So
Come on in the room.
thank y'all.
Man, thank you so much. You tell my boy Pastor say what's up. All right.
I will do it.
Love you so much. You be safe out there.
All right, love you guys.
All right,
Love you
again,
too.
Captain McKinney in the building. Whoop, whoop. Oh,
Yes,
man.
grief. This topic is so important because it is one of those things that so many people can relate to.
Yeah.
This, because we might be somebody counselor tonight just talking about it.
You might
Just
be
this
right.
the first step, just them talking about it, and now it'll open the door for them to call somebody.
Where do I get my certification at? Like, don't I get my,
right?
I need my license tonight. Whoever listening, I went through the class. This was my test tonight, so I passed. Right. but again, this is what it's all about, and this is what this show is about. Making sure that we help. It's
Right.
about helping, and again, it's about hearing, and when you hear, that's where that faith comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Hearing comes by the word of God, and definitely when people inspire others with their testimonies, that also builds people's faith, builds people's character, help push them, help comfort them, in ways that they need to be comforted. Man, listen, I you know what? And then here's the thing about this here. I don't think we're going to stop with this. Our daughter came with a good idea, because a lot of times, adults, we are always talking,
Mhm. And we want to hear them.
We want to hear from the kids.
and how they process grief. And they process grief different. When Brian was murdered, the first thing I did was contact the school, because I know my kids' relationship with their uncle. I knew they had a close relationship. So I needed to let them know. Well, for one, they weren't gonna be here for a little while, but for two, if behavior changed, if something changed, this is probably what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So we can step in and get the necessary people there to help them process their thoughts, to help them process their feelings or whatever. Because sometimes the kids are overlooked, because when you're planning a funeral, it's so many steps. It's so many different steps. And I always have just a little special spot for my kids, because my kids have experienced major death on both sides in the past 6 years. We had my dad, we had Brian, we had cousin Caitlin, we had 2 uncles, an aunt, and it was all back to back to back. And so I'm constantly have to sit them down and say, this happened and try to explain it to them. But God is all I got, because I'm still here.
That's all we got.
God is all I got, because I ain't pulled my hair out yet.
But God, and I thank God. I thank God because, for this gift, you are a gift to us, because, my wife, she's, she studied social work. And so she uses, her degree, not just for work, but she uses it for home too. And so I appreciate it, because, there's sometimes I might not, because again, everybody handles, things differently. And again, most of the time, because of the calling that I have, at times, you got to learn how to balance, but oftentimes on the calling that you have, it's sometimes it's just a go and run. And so her thinking quick on her feet, to have those conversations, even I never forget, even that night when Brian listened. And the crazy thing was, that Saturday, we were, planning to go to the birthday gathering in Augusta, and I was at the church. I had just did a funeral that Saturday morning. And so she was like, well, I'm gonna just meet you there at the church, leave your car at the church. And so we leave the car at the church. And so, I'm just like, I'm in my feelings a little bit, cause I'm like, oh man, you just want me to drive back. You ain't playing about it. And so not knowing the whole setup, a lot of times we don't know what, and again, that's why it's happening, why this is happening.
Right.
God, I'm trying to tell you, if you don't know him, get to know him. It's God. I mean, I like to have a good time. We're very transparent. We're very honest. Again, we're flawed in all, but God. And so, we left the vehicle there and went to Augusta after the dinner. We drove on back home. And so, when they get the call, I'm straight red form. I'm putting my clothes on, what going, something just happened. I got to go now. I'm thinking I'm about to hop in my car and drive. And she like, Will, calm down for a moment. You don't have your car. You can't go nowhere. We got to think this out. So
even in stress, even in tragedies, we have to think and that's, one of the important things of having a partner or whatever. Somebody maybe ain't thinking right at the moment, but the other person, somebody got to be the thinker.
Somebody got to be the thinker at all times.
Somebody got to be the thinker at all times.
And it'll flip flop on you.
Right. Because sometimes I'm in distress and then he pulls through and then vice versa. But hey.
She was like, look, you got to chill. We got to think this thing out. We ain't gonna tell the kids. Let's have them go somewhere, get cuz to come get them, all that kind of stuff. And so, in that process, again, when you're talking about this grief process, you're not knowing, knowing why you're doing what you're doing. And again, when you have a relationship, going back to that key point as well, I had my moment, what I'm saying? That was as soon as that happened, again, like you said, you got to have somebody to think, you got to, get things together. Thank God for people in place. That was Saturday going into Sunday. When I get home to my family to check on my mom, my dad, I'm like, look, I got to go preach. She looking at me fool.
Like what? But what I did, I called his friends and his pastor friends came through. And they came down to preach. But it's always the whole point of all of this is you have to have your key people. You have to have your core people.
Yeah. And again, I didn't know she was doing all that. My focus was somewhere else. And again, if I say that I trust him, if I say that I believe him, I know that he's going to be the comforter that I need him to be. And again, I've seen examples. I've had models such as my grandmother and others around me that were able, through tough times to see how they look to him, see how they call on him and dealt with it. Then hey, look, I can't be telling people, something to trust him, and I don't.
Right. Gotta trust him.
Gotta trust him. And so,
I want to say this.
Go ahead.
There is no manual to grief.
Come on.
But I found this little thing on YouTube, on Google that I want to share with you. There is no manual. There is no way to get it right. When you lose a loved one, you're going to have thoughts going through your head. And sometimes how the death happens hurts more. It stings a little harder. But listen to this. If you are grieving, cry whenever you need to. Scream, shout, lay on the floor, punch a wall, sob in the quiet, in the shower, be still, run, walk, create, build, live your truth, share without fear, listen, release your pain. You can't hold it in. Breathe. Breathe. Be encouraged. Throw away the map. Wonder. Be real. Be compassionate. Read. Seek friendship. Be vulnerable. Don't fear being broken.
That's it. I'm done. She's closed us out. Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
Seek him. He got you. Peace. We love y'all. My people's keeper. Come on.
119 Media Group.
Remember, as always, God's always working.
I'm sorry. Your time has come.
No, God is present today. They need to be afraid. You need to be afraid today because the God of justice